Bitch Sesh.
A Real Housewives breakdown show. I'm Casey Wilson.
I'm Danielle Schneider. Welcome back. We took a week-long hiatus.
And gosh, do we have a lot to catch up on.
God, a week off and just the world exploded.
It's hard to take a week off in these political times when we've got 2 reunions on.
And like 4... I mean, we have more shows than I can even handle.
I mean, there's been a lot to consume this week.
My child was upstairs eating dinner, and I was downstairs watching Southern Charm. And I have not seen her today. Like, I hadn't seen her. I dropped her off at school this morning. That was the last I had got eyes on her and her on me.
I had therapy, which I had to pay for. I do it over the phone. Don't worry about it. And I was like, I gotta watch Atlanta. And I basically paid to watch Atlanta.
With your therapist?
No.
No. You were like, hey, Joan, can you watch this with me and we'll just like multitask here?
She's a cultured, sophisticated woman.
I would hope.
Oh my gosh, Danielle, there's so much. But first, I want to tell our listeners that I got my eyes on a man this weekend.
You sure did.
Not a boy, a man. You know, once in a while you meet a guy and you're like, wow. He just takes you.
Am I on?
Yes.
Yeah,
our guest is asking if she's allowed to talk.
I didn't know if I was allowed to talk.
Our guest is Jessica Chaffin.
I'm going to try and do my best not to shock too much because everyone knows I'm a real...
Well, you've introduced yourself and jumped in.
I'm a real Eden Sus. I mean, a real Dorit.
Dorit Kemsley.
You even have like a high bun like
Lots
Dorit.
of words come out. None of them mean anything.
Hi, Jess.
Hi.
What do you
I'm
got?
sorry. I feel terrible. But then I felt like I wanted to know more about your story. So then I was going to say something.
I met a man at a sitcom taping and I thought he's dashing. He reminds me of a Robert Wagner. And I know he may or may not be a murderer.
You mean Heart to Heart, my favorite show ever made?
Well, just, we don't know what happened on that boat.
No, we sure don't.
With
It could have been
Natalie.
Christopher Walken. It could have been the sea
I'm on
itself.
RJ's side, no matter what.
Okay, well, I met a man that is a deep tan like Robert Wagner. And I'll tell you, I'm attracted to him. And it was Danielle's father.
Oh my God.
One Jim Schneider who listens to the podcast, so he'll be happy to.
I think I've met your father. Well, at your wedding.
Yes.
And he is dashing.
Yes.
And he's very charming. He gave a controversial toast.
He did.
At
He
your
sure
wedding.
did.
Oh.
But he took a risk.
Yes.
He took a risk.
It wasn't about Natalie Wood?
No, sadly.
It was more about whether he would have pushed Danielle off a boat.
Yeah. He roasted me a bit at my wedding.
Did, but it was kind of great.
It was well received.
Yeah.
By
the guests.
After that wedding, I think he got a little, high on his own fumes and was like, I could take this show on the road.
Well, speaking of fathers
was a moment
doing
in time, though.
comedy at weddings, I say this because at June and Paul's wedding, they... it was a great night, but it was horrifying for me. They had like an open mic, kind of like as the rehearsal dinner. We're friends with all comedians. So people are doing bits that, truly this comedy show you would have paid top dollar for to see such luminaries and then my father do a stand-up set.
I remember laughing quite a bit.
Well, you and Matt were so sweet to him. And my dad's like, I think Matt, Danielle's husband who created the Upright Citizens Brigade, he's like, I think Matt really liked my stuff. I was like, Dad liked your stuff. One joke was so upsetting. God.
Do you want to tell it here on this podcast?
I'll tell it here. My dad is like, well, I remember when Casey and June were coming up through NYU, they did a comedy show. And it wasn't a comedy show either. This is a play we did about Medea. I won't get into it. But in the play, June
Greek
and I...
Medea.
Yes.
Not Medea goes to jail.
Yeah. I was thinking in the Tyler Perry, but that would he might have stolen it from you. Actually.
Would have been before that time. We would have.
I know, but how great if you were like a version of Medea,
stage
where
production.
June and I both
Medea
dressed
on
as
for
old
size.
black church ladies.
I'd love to try all those parts on for size.
I will say this about Medea, and I've seen many of the movies. I go with my great friend Jackie Clark, who is a connoisseur of Medea movies.
I've seen many of them with her.
And can I say, Tyler Perry, not the actor, but when he gets on that wig and that bodysuit, he becomes a human being that I love.
Are you kidding? I love those movies.
I love those movies in a way. He is brilliant as Medea, and I say this with every fiber of my body.
As do I. Well, I wish it was that Medea, but this Medea was like a cool, like we were doing modern day moms who have like, well, it sounds bad to say now, but killed their kids,
It's bad to say now as opposed to
well, at the time we were like, this is edgy, like we're updating Medea,
when you get out of college, all of a sudden you're like, I need to do edgy fare.
Oh, this was a type of production that people love where you're walked around the city of New York and you're not sure what's theater and what's just...
who's waiting behind a mailbox?
Yes. You walk into an abandoned lot and you might be scared. Is that a homeless person? Is that me. But anyway, at one point, as you will, all
movable
8
feast.
women, yes, all 8 women are dancing to "Oops, I Did It Again" in our underwear and bras.
Sure.
You know, there was a place for that.
As one does.
As everyone should have.
Yes.
At that age.
And
if I could go back.
Take
all my clothes off.
June and I are both in it, and both our fathers were at that performance that night. So it was all so upsetting. I blocked that out of my memory, both the show and that experience. So here we are, flash forward at June's rehearsal dinner. My father has insisted on doing stand-up. My brother and I are in the back clutching each other. He's buried his head in my shoulder. He's like, why does he do this? My mom had recently passed away. We felt we had to let him. Here he is. He goes, I remember when Casey and June were doing some racy material, racy play. And I'll tell you, June's father and I made a pact. We would just look at each other's daughters.
That's tough.
This was the type of cutting edge humor.
It also implies you had to look at the wrong one first to know which one to look at.
It's all
There's
just
so many levels to why it's uncomfortable.
so upset. And that was the best joke. Like the rest of them were just like incomprehensible.
I don't remember that
a lot
joke.
of Amtrak material.
Yes.
I don't remember that joke in particular. I do remember laughing, but maybe it was the sort of laughter, nervous that,
Much like the laughter in Beverly Hills tonight when the bunny came out.
Oh, God.
But which we'll get to.
Oh, dear
bunny.
God.
That crinkly, crackly bunny.
I would love one of your listeners to do a deep dive on the price tag on that bunny. I'm dying to know if it was Price is Right more or less than $17.
I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say that's
I think it was
$35.
36.
Yeah.
I think.
As parents,
I don't know though with Rinna, it might be more like 23.
Looked rough. It looked like it fell off the back of like a piñata truck.
All of this is to say, and I did not mean to go off on a tangent about my father, is that Danielle's father is very dashing, very charming.
He's a lovely man, though he's doing this new thing when we drive where as I'm getting into a parking spot, he doesn't wait for the car to stop before he starts to hop out. That's a new thing that's happening. And he was like, well, Danielle, just tell me when I can get out. And I was like, well, here's a hint. The car will go off.
Most people take their cue from the engine.
Like the stopping of the engine
It's
and the
those
turning
high
of the key.
LA curbs. He doesn't like them. He wants to get out of that door.
That's a new wrinkle in the life of my father. But I'm glad that you find him attractive and he will be listening and he will be taking this and he might be leaving my mother for you.
You know what? And I'm not saying I want that to happen for your family, but I mean, and your mom was lovely as well.
Yes, she's lovely too.
I tried to befriend her as you would, when you're trying to cover your tracks.
Of course.
Did it work?
We'll see, pending. Keeping an eye on that situation. Let's just get right into the shows, guys. There's so much. We're going to start with Atlanta.
Okay, I'm going to make a slight disclaimer to your listeners at first, which is just that I feel that for the 3.5 people that look forward to my appearances on this show, that I am known for a somewhat encyclopedic knowledge of these properties, and that I had to do a cram session. I have been not keeping up.
Why?
So I had to do a cram. Life has been such a cornucopia of pleasures in the life. No,
could you do?
I think I must be in a deep depression.
Jess, what could you do that is more
up.
important than these women in your life?
It's so hard because it's like, all you want is chocolate, and then somebody starts giving you chocolate, and then you have like 5 boxes of chocolate, and that's the secret to not eating chocolate is having too much of it in your house.
Interesting.
By the way, I'll still eat it all, but I'm saying that sometimes you're like, oh, there's enough of it that I'm not dying. So I feel like they were just loading up and I just couldn't.
You couldn't keep up.
No, I'd love to tell you that I've been reading, but that's not true.
I get it. But you've done your homework.
I was also in a writing mode. And when you do that, you're like your life gets really small. So you feel like you can't.
Still have always managed to watch all of them.
No, you're girls. I
was up to speed the week my son was born.
I need to work on my work-life balance. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
But I was excited to get back into it. I spent 3 hours today.
Did absence
and 2 hours yesterday?
Did absence make the heart grow fonder?
It definitely put everything into a new perspective a little bit for me on these ladies. It was nice to have a little time away and then to see just how little and how much they've changed. Anyway, That's all I'm saying is that if I get something wrong, I don't want people to. Oh, maybe I should speak in a Dorit accent. But if I get something wrong, I want people to feel that they don't say, "How could she not know that Cynthia and blah 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 whatever."
Thank you.
Now, speaking of Cynthia and blah blah blah. I watched 2 episodes in a row this week because I was not able to watch last week because of work. And there was so much going on, especially with Chateau Cheray and all that went into that. The fact that she had a party planner and also an entertainment coordinator who seemed like the same thing to me, but turns out they're not. That was very interesting to me.
I need to stop both of you. You're trying to get into the episode. You're trying to explain why I haven't watched the episode. Let's give this its due. If you're not watching Atlanta, and I include you in this, Jess, you should be shot. Let me explain to you. Remember on this podcast, a lot of times I have come out and said, like, guys, here's a tip, watch this. And I do feel that my recommendations have been fairly well received. Now I'm going to recommend a show that we already cover, which is Atlanta. Yeah. There is a 4-part reunion. And I just want to let everyone know who doesn't know, in the history of Housewives, there has never been a 4-part reunion.
No, this is an unprecedented
Sometimes they
reunion.
move down to 2-part and you're like, what didn't happen?
Exactly. Some are 1.
And when they move to 4, you're like, what the fuck?
And sometimes they're stretching for 3.
1 is a courtesy.
Right.
Yeah.
For Andy to say this is unprecedented, the previews, what's going on? There's a bombshell. Andy is, people are screaming at Andy. He said, I've never seen this in all my time here.
But this is why I feel badly because I feel like if I'd watched the whole season up to now, I might be able to predict what the bombshell
But here's the thing. I don't even know that you need to have. I'm just telling our
I'm
audience.
going to keep watching from now.
Jump in the finale. Watch the finale. Get in with Chateau Cheray. And I didn't mean to cut you off, Danielle. I just want to tell everyone what I'm so excited by this show. Get in with the finale and just go with us on the reunions because it is so good.
Yeah, I did watch this one reunion and I was excited to hear everybody talk about
fashions.
their refreshes.
Oh, the fashion.
Although you could see Portia had like pink boob tape. Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
Yes. You have a
I always have an
an
eye for
eye.
detail.
Yeah.
I thought if you stack the Atlanta reunion cast, and April pointed this out, with the Beverly Hills cast in terms of appearance, it is a shocking difference.
Well, the Atlanta women bring it to the reunion.
Yes.
Physically, emotionally, beauty-wise, everyone pulls out all the stops.
They've got folders. They've got receipts.
Sheree
They
looked
have
like
bags in the back. I want a picture of the back of the couches and just like what's
Yes,
behind
that would be
there.
great.
They're giving us new hair, new looks. It's like something to feast my eyes on.
Sheree looked like a full-on crackhead that woke up next to a dumpster when she arrived in the morning, and then when she came out, well, and also somebody said to somebody about Kenya, what do you call that hair? And she said new. Yeah. Like they did all have new hair.
Of course. And I love the behind the scenes with Andy for the
Cynthia's
reunion.
wig gets bigger and bigger.
It was daring.
It's shocking.
I just loved everything about the looks. But let's back up to the finale with Chateau Cheray being finally unveiled.
And
a special guest.
Oh, but this was my favorite quote from that episode, which was, wait, let me get it real quick.
5 years in the making, Chateau Cheray.
Wait,
5 to 6. There's been a lot of
Bob
numbers.
was paying for that, or she wrote a book.
No,
and paid for it? That was the whole idea.
Okay,
Yeah.
This is Sheree's quote of the episode, I think. I wish my house had appliances, but with a house of this magnitude, it may take me a lifetime to complete decorating. Now, the fact that
I wrote down the same
appliances are considered a decorating sort of aspect to me killed me.
I love it. I wrote down the same thing that she's like, look, do I wish I had appliances? That's where I stopped because it's just like, yeah, I do. You know, I'll give you that. And that house.
But like, it's going to take me a lifetime to get all the appliances into this house. You idiots.
Yeah. Anytime you say something that is the negative in order to get ahead of it, it's like, they should have known that basement was empty.
Yeah. Why did Sheree, after 5 to 6 years of planning this, and now she knows the party's looming, just leave 1 week for the party planners? For the multiple party planners?
That's vintage Sheree. You're not remembering Sheree's fashion line. She by Sheree.
Yes.
When she only had the samples for the party. Remember? She didn't have a fashion line.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah.
That's
this
more than
was
the day
a
my daughter was
total
born.
Sheree joint.
A Sheree
And
joint
also,
production.
none of those people were paid. She doesn't pay anybody.
Also,
she even admitted to that.
No.
Yeah.
But I love how she's like, I'm thinking grand, go big. And they're all thinking, you're not paying us.
No.
Also, the fact that like the
And once the food's
refrigerator
been
was
eaten.
coming the day of the party, that's a misstep on everybody's.
It's worrisome. And I like how the woman's like, so we might do as she started. I could see her mouth starting to move towards dinner. And Trey's like, cocktails. Like, no.
Oh, not a bite was to be delivered to these mouths. And also the fact that I have to say, I do not think she's living there yet. It came out of the reunion because Kenya was like, guys,
Dark.
I go by that house. I pass by that house every day. At night, there is not a light on.
Kenya's obsession with this house is getting to
Yeah,
me.
it's sad.
enough. And I didn't think it was right the way she was going through every room being like, you have the same appliances, and they weren't.
No, I mean, who cares?
I did think she was Kenya, who I've defended the entire season. I was like, oh, you're coming off so terribly. And Sheree called her single black female.
I love these girls. Their insults to each other are beautiful. They're poetry.
I mean, wow.
It was a wonderful episode. And then we got to see Kim Zolciak, who does look bananas.
Insane. And to show up at someone else's house with a red Solo cup. I know that's what she does at home.
That's her thing.
Her nose has also been thinned to a point that I'm sure she can't breathe out of it.
If she blows it, it blows off.
Yeah.
Like, there is no way that
and Brielle is getting started so early now. It's so worrying.
Brielle?
And the other one's starting, I feel.
Oh, yeah.
The little one?
Ariel?
I can tell.
Ariana,
Kim's not going to let Ariana
get through life with her regular stuff. With her regular
unfortunately.
Nose, face,
and I think she's the cutest
breast.
one of all.
Oh, yeah.
Well, she was sort of the smart. She was like Whitney and Bobby's daughter. She was like smart and a little chubby and cute. And then she could end up being the monster.
You guys, Portia launched a detox cleanse called The Dump.
I have written down the same. I thought it was a joke. That was her update. You know, like where they say what's happening with them now. Like it comes up on the screen in a freeze frame. Portia has started a detox cleanse called The Dump.
But isn't it what we all dream of?
It's just
when you do a detox cleanse, isn't it what you're trying to get to?
We must get this
You want to see that
cleanse.
doll shoe come
Someone
out?
send us The Dump.
We
If you
need
have
The Dump.
access, I need to try The Dump.
I hope
I'll
it's,
do a prototype. I'll do it pregnant. Please give me The Dump.
I hope it's made of just like coffee grounds and
Orange peel.
I just love that because Portia was like looking over the season and was like, how did I stand out? And then she's like, I guess I carried that weird cooler that one time with a cleanse in it.
Yeah. Like a suitcase cooler. It was a high moment for her. If you
Well,
ask me.
speaking of Portia and that scene with Candy, I'm looking at you. April has made us, she made you a sweatshirt and she made me a t-shirt. They are so cute.
It says Toodles Bitch, which is a signature line of
Toodles, bitch. But Danielle's is like this pale pink, soft,
So
gorgeous
cute.
sweatshirt.
I'll take a picture of it.
We're
for
not
everybody.
even selling them.
No.
But
Yet.
I'm talking. Yeah. I just mouthed yet.
Did you?
No, yes, but only because April genuinely got them for us. And
No,
then-
as a
They're
gift.
so cute. You should sell them.
They're
She
so
got them as a
cute.
gift.
And I
we-
love the typeface. She made a very daring choice with the I in bitch, and it's really working.
Yeah, the lowercase
Yeah, I
I.
love that.
April's perfection.
Where did you do them? At Bando.
Wow.
Very hip spot, I'm hearing.
Well,
Is it a website or is it a brick and mortar store?
online.
Online.
Wow.
A favorite of Ms. Busy Phillips.
Oh,
My
okay.
co-star.
There you go.
Excuse me.
Oh, Kelly Oxford. Okay.
The Atlanta is, ladies, are just a gift they keep on
I mean, they're
giving.
crazy. When Kim shows up, literally out of nowhere, we have not seen her in years, and she
For a
immediately
paycheck.
starts a huge fight with Kenya. That is amazing. Now, granted, Kenya should not have been going around the basement looking for an unfinished home, which she found.
She's a rabid dog.
She is.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the best was during this huge fight in the middle of which Portia and Phaedra have been like celebrating in Sheree's shower, being like, rub-a-dub. They like love her shower. That was the best. They're cutting back between a fight to then these two being like, ooh, Sheree, rub-a-dub. Then they show up and Portia in testimonial watching this fight goes, Kim, girl, you and your wig are winning, bitch. I was like, I'm loving Portia.
Oh, I think at one point, was it just her? Was it everyone that shouted, hip, hip, Sheree? Which I was like, how have we never thought of this before?
Brilliant.
Hip, hip, Sheree.
Someone's thought, is it in her song? We've said this.
Have I?
Yes.
Feels like brand new to me.
Really? I feel like we've lived
It's that
it.
good.
It's that good. It's
Yeah.
new again.
But you hear it, it feels fresh.
Fresh as a daisy.
Yeah.
I loved it coming out of her mouth.
Now you said it, Danielle, and I'm going to second it. Done with Phaedra.
Done. And I can't believe I am saying this because I have been hardcore Phaedra all the time. She was so funny, so breezy, and she is, guys, she's a liar. She is passive aggressive.
She's a bad person.
I don't know where she stands. I don't know who she is. I can't get behind her anymore. And I apologize, Phaedra, but I just can't.
And I
do
get
it.
that she might not like Kenya, who is like a dog with a bone, but to be going after Candy, the whole thing.
Yeah, but this was like when you said, what's it like to be back after being away for a while? Bless you. For sure, that was two of the things that I picked up. One of them was like, Phaedra is like, she is like Bizarro Phaedra now. She's like, but she came off nasty, and I also hated her. I was really upset by her. I'm talking about the reunion. I know we'll get to it in a minute, but I was really upset by her lashes because I could not see, because everybody's lashes have gotten so heavy and the HD isn't doing them any favors, but I could not see the whites of her eyes. Like literally, like I was like, she is a snake in the grass. And she does kind of pull it off because she always has that sort of like super high look, or something. Like she's always kind of in repose.
And I will say she's gorgeous.
But she came off wrong. Like she just had a bad stink on her.
And I think what's going to come
about Apollo.
Is something that she has planted. I just think
Phaedra's always had weird side businesses and weird, like.
I just think her accusations of turning this like possible, what sounds like innocent, harmless, possible like makeout session between Portia and Candy. Like Phaedra has been driving this whole thing and pushing Portia to make it a bigger thing.
With Candy? What do you think her problem is with Candy?
The friendship with Apollo.
And because they kept his motorcycle at their house.
That's it.
Never forget.
Never forget that motorcycle. You don't keep someone's ex's husband's motorcycle when he goes to jail.
Now Todd is a little shady because of the fact that Todd didn't tell Candy that like this this fiance of Apollo's was coming to the OLG opening.
Yeah, that wasn't great. I mean, guys, I've never been a Todd fan, and I've never said I was. So, and watching him fall asleep while she plays with her baby was, hard.
I feel disappointed about Todd because I've really thought from the beginning that Todd was like this great choice.
As I was on his side when Mama Joyce was not, I was like, why is she being terrible to Todd?
Well, it just turns out they're both terrible.
Yeah. Well, I think Candy is a star. I love Candy. I think she is a true talent. I think she is a smart businesswoman.
And she's been tested this season. And I do think, normally she's great, but I find her kind of boring for these types of shows.
Agree.
Like she is an artist.
She seems like a pretty nice person.
Yes. And a decent human being. Even the way she handled Block at the dinner or at the lunch with his daughter. I felt like she did that mostly with class, even when it's hard, when he has not been a good father. I think
100%.
she's a good mother. And
she's great. So she's kind of, boring for these types of shows. So then I feel like she kind of reminds me of Eileen in the sense that she's got a job, she's doing her thing, but she's probably a nice person if you met her in life.
Like she doesn't need this.
Well, and I dislike her for not being more needier. Horrible.
Yeah.
But I do feel like she has been tested this season. And I think whatever happens in the fourth part, that I am literally up at night. I wrote on this, four part. What happens? We've seen arrests. We've seen arrests and it has been 3 parts.
Yes.
I think what happens is we spend a lot of time off stage crying. I think lawyers are called. I think we get the fuck into it. And when we see Candy check Andy backstage, did you guys see that?
No.
Coming up, something so explosive happens that Candy leaves and Andy's in her dressing room and he goes, that was crazy. I don't even know what. Or something like that. And then Candy's like, you don't know what? And takes him downtown. What? Like something has happened that I've been reading in the blogs and this and that is so explosive, and Phaedra's lies are possibly the reason this has all happened, that's why they did not extend a contract renewal for Phaedra. Wow. I'm telling you, if you aren't watching, just get in on the reunion, ride the rest of the train.
I am in.
Something's coming. Something wicked this way comes.
I can't wait.
That was a line from Medea. Tyler Perry's
Your version.
Which Medea? There's many. There's the Greek tragedy. There is the Tyler Perry. And then there's the
NYU. There's the NYU tragedy.
3 huge Medeas.
And then there's the Tyler Perry version.
One last thing about Atlanta, I watched, there was like a little cutaway where Andy seemed to be in extra special spirits in Atlanta. I thought he was excited to be there.
Yes. How could you not be?
I found Kenya's lack of an admission on the boob job upsetting. Because I think she actually knows they look so bad that she was, but they got giant.
They're giant.
They were never that giant.
See, I'm so naive. I'm like, whatever anyone says is what's the truth.
I thought Kelly from OC had real. I thought those things were real. Turns out they're not.
No. She just had them removed. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. That's how I found out they're not real.
I was like, guys, she said they're real. They're real.
But
Andy did have a little spring in his step.
He did. Well, at one point he said to Candy, he's like, Candy, now which of these women do you think have had, which of these women you think are lying basically about having a boob job. They just cut to the side with Portia and Sheree, and it's this amazing cutaway. It's just very small, and they're whispering, and Portia just goes, Andy, and Sheree goes, he's messy.
I did catch that. That was amazing.
Messy.
Oh,
He was messy.
He was messy. I like when he gets messy, though. I also like this. After Andy was like, do you guys think you can still be friends? Like, after he says this to Kenya, after Portia called you a trifling whore. And Portia's just like, I didn't think the friendship was over. I was like, how do you bounce back from
And then
that?
Andy, then he says to Kenya and to Phaedra, he's like, is there hope for your friendship? Could we pray now? It's like, Andy, no, I don't think anyone's praying
Well,
now.
that felt like a lot of white splain. That was like a sort of white man's like, it seemed almost like a genuine, do we pray now?
Yeah.
Like, is this a time when someone could pray? And it was like, yeah.
Guys.
But it's
Get back on the civil rights bus and go back to New York, you Jew. I mean, it was just, is this a time where no, this isn't a time for praying. Do we like Portia's new nose?
I didn't know it was new.
That was a wild
That was
admission.
a wild ride on because she was like, I didn't get the nose done except for to remove the bridge because it was like, and then it
She's
was
like, I got the top
Oh, I
done.
had seen
but
that
she didn't
on
mean
the
top
interweb.
like when you touch the button of your nose. She meant like between
She
her
had
forehead.
the top from the bridge of her nose to the tip filled.
And she said, because my nose is like a little deer, it goes up at the top.
She had a
It was
cute
hard to
nose
follow.
before, I
Yeah.
thought. Well, she basically filled that in. She has like a nene nose now. Nene. Nene. You get it. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, and the last crazy thing that I Kenya is just come for Kim so strong
So
out of the
hard.
gate, and it makes perfect sense. But I thought we would get there over at least one episode.
No.
It was literally like, "Hi, I'm Kim." She's like, "Get your fucking hands off me!" Like it went so crazy. But then Andy's like, "So, are you excited to see Kim back? Like, why do you think she's doing the show again?" And Kenya's just like, "For a check, for a check." I was like, "Wow, we've never spoken so boldly about people's needs to be on the show."
Yeah.
Well, that was one of the things that I felt was interesting watching these three after being away for a little while, because it feels kind of bald now. Like it feels
Like we're just calling it. We're just calling
Everybody
ourselves.
Well, and
is
now we're
reduced.
seeing backstage again, much like my timely production of Medea, which
Yeah.
is like the lines are blurring.
Yeah, and that you just also feel, though, we'll get into New York later, but you feel that these character traits that basically the worst parts of them have risen to the top, and so that people are just unabashedly kind of playing their parts, or like playing their game, as we would say in improv. And so that you're just like, oh, that's all you serve. You just serve that one troublemaking thing, or they stay on their storyline and hope that their storyline.
I see that.
Do you know
I
what
see
I mean?
that especially in
It feels
Beverly Hills,
reduced.
more than in Atlanta, because I do feel Atlanta. There's colors, there's shades, there's
Yeah.
humor. They laugh a lot more with each
Yeah.
other. They have a lot more fun than the other cities, and we're having fun watching them.
And they're not the center of Atlanta's not the center of the world.
Where Beverly Hills sometimes feels like this is our storyline. We're sticking with it because this is what I have. This is what I know.
Yeah.
And I am desperate and I am hungry.
And I think Lisa Rinna's driving that behavior. Let's take a quick break and come back with Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
We're back.
So, Beverly Hills, guys.
We've been through 2 reunions since we last met.
I'm sure we're not going to agree on some of this stuff.
Well, seeing Dorit, what they did with Beverly
Dorit.
Hills this time,
Dorit.
which was
You're fluent
interesting.
in Hebrew,
oh, of
Danielle,
course.
aren't you? Dorit.
Oh, of course. Every word.
All 4 languages, yeah.
But this is the first time they've done that thing where they showed behind the scenes of Beverly Hills, but them meeting at their houses.
Getting
Which was
ready.
that was a strange thing. We haven't done that before. And we saw Dorit in a way I hope to never see her again.
No, she looked
which was like a weird long bang,
greasy.
no makeup. I was shocked. I didn't know what I was looking at.
It was the first time I felt she was justified having the amount of help she has.
Yes.
I completely agree. And
I was like, it takes a village.
One of the
and
things
her
I
glam
think
squad person, that woman that she brought with her to Hong Kong, I was like, she's like figured out Dorit's eye. Like that brown eye, Dorit is 100% right on that raccoon eye. Like I didn't know what was hiding under that makeup, but now I know. And her makeup is well executed.
Well, I also love with Dorit, like, I think we all kind of love watching these women. Their lives are so lavish, and I love watching them have to defend their lives. Like on the reunion, Andy's like, so Dorit, why do you need so many nannies? And like, what is your job? Like when they get into it, listening to her explanation, she's like, well, what people don't understand is, it's like, oh, that's a great way to win us over.
Yes, I'm that tidy.
Well, she also
I'm not
did
that
that.
messy. I'm that tidy.
She also did that on the second reunion. He's like, when he was like, Dorit, what is your job or what is your business? And she was like, Andy, I have lots of companies. I have a company that does business in a place and many businesses, and then I join those with PK and our businesses. And you were like, what?
I also loved her correcting Andy for calling PK Kemsley or whatever his last name is. She was like, it's not PK Kemsley. It's just PK. That's Paul Kemsley. That's what it
You know what? He's always
for.
PK Kemsley to me.
Yeah.
PK Pigman Kemsley.
Pigman Kemsley, for sure.
He's such a sweaty mess that rolled up and stuffed his sausage-like carcass in between Vanderpump and Dorit. Did you hear her desperate cry to him backstage when he was coming out?
Oh,
and she goes, PK, I love you. I love you, baby.
Yeah.
I was
She's like, PK, don't let them tell you you're wrong. Like when she gave him that pep talk before he came
never
out.
should have come on the reunion.
Now never.
No,
I said,
that was a
I
mistake
think
because he's actually, I think, a legitimate businessman. I did a little diving on him, and finding out that he was, he was in the British football scene.
I saw that too. And
Tottenham Hotspur is the Jewish club.
Well, I know
Yeah.
two things. First off, you told me he was Jewish tonight. Something that
Born
I
in
found
Stanmore.
upsetting. I was like,
Yeah.
he can't be one of us.
He
I
is.
was.
I knew what
shocked.
I knew. I got one.
I'm so sorry,
eye
guys,
on
for your
him, and
loss.
I knew exactly what I was looking at. A North London Jew.
I
Yeah.
had no idea what I was in for.
Yeah.
I was shocked. I was disappointed. I had to look in the mirror and be like, who am I? Who are we?
I'm so sorry, guys, for you, for your
You
loss.
know what? You can't win them all.
Your people have been through so much.
It's so true.
We have. We don't need this.
Yeah, and on Passover week, just as Passover,
know.
Just as Passover's winding down.
Passover's coming to a close. Yeah,
Yep, this
it was
news
a real
hits.
blow.
It really was.
Because he truly is
It
the
took
worst.
the heat off Sean Spicer for a minute.
Wait, is Sean Spicer Jewish?
No,
Oh,
he was
God.
talking about Holocaust centers.
Oh,
last
yeah, those
week.
Holocaust centers. I
Yeah.
forgot about the Holocaust center near the mall.
Yeah.
I'll tell you guys.
Fucking Christ.
Now, you said, I'd like to hear I want to hear your take, Jessica, on 2 marriages in
Okay.
Beverly Hills.
I'll do my best.
Okay. I said, I think that Dorit would leave PK and we will watch it play out in like 5 years, maybe.
Yeah.
And she'll be like, you don't understand. It was terrible. I had to give up my swimsuit line and on and on.
Camille Grammer.
He's going to leave her, you
Correct.
say. Wow. He's been married before.
He's been married
As has
before.
she. As has she.
What do we know about her?
She had a swimwear line. She's from Connecticut.
No, but her whatever her first marriage was. Do we know anything about that?
I wonder if she wasn't married. Am I lying? I'm not sure.
I think
I don't know. I
is
didn't
the man
do-
for her.
I didn't do enough of a dive on
I
her.
feel like I dove, and I'm getting confused because I also dove recently on Tinsley Mortimer, and I don't know if I'm getting stories crossed.
Okay. Well, here's the thing about Dorit. First of all, I want to say that I think we did get a little tiny flash of her at the last reunion where they showed a sweaty, greasy backstage
Yes!
Dorit in 2013, pre-PK.
Pre-accent.
Pre-PK venture capital infusion. And she didn't have any of that terrific work that she has now. And I have to say, she has had some terrific work done. Not since Keira Knightley have I seen a lip job that successful.
Wait, Keira Knightley has a lip job.
Oh, Jessica.
Are you serious?
What are you saying?
Keira Knightley, to her absolute pristine credit, after Bend It Like Beckham, you go watch Bend It Like Beckham, she has she has no upper lip. She had,
Would some say she bent those lips
she
like
had
Beckham?
she cops to this surgery. She had a surgery done to create a tougher upper lip for herself.
Surgery?
And then she became a huge international movie star.
She sure did, and I love that lip.
That is,
You know,
the first
where
thing
I
I'm
grew
gonna
up,
tell
like
you.
no one was getting nose jobs. It wasn't even, when I tell you, it wasn't even an option.
Where Danielle and I grew
where
up.
I grew up-
It was do you want a car or a
It was
nose
my
job?
grandmother's
Yeah.
dying wish that we all have nose jobs, like on her deathbed.
I had 3 or 4 roommates who always thought I had a nose job, and were always like, "That's a given that's a nose job," but it's not, unfortunately.
Yeah, mine's she passed before my I was of age.
Tons.
But
I
And
have,
also
like, a
you would
bump on
get
my nose.
but you'd get like a Gap nose job, so you'd be like, "Oh, they all went to Sumner Slavin." Like that nose is a Sumner Slavin nose, and that's
I do feel I missed out.
So I do, but what I'll say is this: I think PK has real money. I don't.
Beyond Boy George. I love that managing Boy George.
That's
is
a recent hobby.
That's a recent hobby.
Yeah.
And that shows in his work.
Well, I was actually happy to hear that because when I thought that they were living on Boy George money, I thought that they were like the Vanderpumps, who I think are totally living on like fake loans. And, I think that's a house of cards.
Do you think the DeBros are a house of cards?
It's a good question because I do think Terry's successful, but I think if Terry really had that much money, I have no idea why he would be able to do as much TV as he does. It's possible that he has a couple of clinics, that he has like a sort of factory going in Orange County, but I don't know how he would have that much time to do TV if he was really that successful.
Well, he's just a fame whore.
Yeah, but still,
where's
the
family
cash?
money? Does Terry have family money?
Well, Terry's brother may have left him some money. Kevin Dubrow.
Oh yeah, he was Iron Maiden. I want to say
Quiet Riot.
Sure.
Was it Quiet Riot?
Someone mentioned on here before that they think they're flipping those houses.
Yeah, who was it? Someone said that is it.
Well, they did flip that last house, and I'm sure they'll flip this one. But it's still a lot of money to
put down.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to Dorit and PK.
PK, I think, has real money. When I found out he wasn't actually managing Boy George except as a hobby, kind of like getting a racehorse. Because Boy George hasn't made anything but like autograph signing money.
He made that Taboo musical.
We're all in the business, and obviously Boy George is a huge star, but you're not going to a businessman entrepreneur and saying like, manage me. I guess you are.
I don't know. I'd love to know how that relationship came about. But finding out that he had been an investor and a director, I think it was, of these football clubs, I was like, oh, he has real money, because that's like owning a professional team here.
Okay.
And so I mean, I'm sure I'm not connecting that dot immediately, like perfectly, but I think PK has real money. I also think that he and Dorit had, it sounds like there was maybe where one relationship ended and the other began, but there may have been a bit of a question mark or a gray area. But I think Dorit ultimately is boring and not fun, and that she was kind of the thing that got him to LA. But I don't see that as a great, I think they have a symbiotic relationship, but I don't see it as a great love affair. And so I think Dorit gets a little older and you just get a new one.
Wow. Okay.
That's a cautionary
But I think he
tale.
gets a new one. I don't think she gets, she'll get a new one too, but
the way that Camille got a new one.
yeah, that hairy doctor,
Yeah, or
whatever
like
he was.
a Greek shipping.
Yeah, he was Greek for
I
sure.
feel like she was catfished or something,
Yeah,
a few
something
times.
strange.
What was
happened
the other
there.
marriage you were curious about?
Well, you're not the first person to say it.
Erica and Tom?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious what your thoughts.
I think Erica gave Tom 20 great years. How long have they been together? About 20 years, right? Mm-hmm. I think she gave him 20 great years. I think he's 80. How old is he?
If he's a day.
Yeah, I would say
80?
that's on the young side of what I think
they're
Tom is.
I think that they're leading very different lives and
That's clear.
very separate lives. Apparently, I didn't know this, but she made reference on Watch What Happens to the fact that she has a Hollywood bungalow that she and her crew hang out at. So she owns another house in Hollywood. So I don't think she's
glad she's
sleeping
getting
in
into the
Pasadena
city,
every
but-
night.
Yeah.
And I think that I think probably they have like a good relationship in day parts, meaning like maybe she makes him a cup of coffee in the morning, or they have dinner
That is
together.
why when they have lunch together, it seems like two strangers sitting down to a meal. Like
Yeah.
two people who haven't seen
I
each
think
other in a while,
like-
catching up on
I think
a
That
lunch.
thing
that's
that's called like just a
genuine.
lunch, like where you can make business contacts.
Just lunch.
When
yeah.
I was a hostess at a restaurant here in LA, people always at the restaurant were like, it was like, oh, it's just lunch. It was just always these weird, sad people having lunch, and you knew it wasn't going to blossom in love, and it felt just
But
like people
all
in like
this-
men in tan suits. And
Yeah.
it was tough.
But all this business that seemed to come out at that dinner about just never dropping it about the not wearing panties thing. I do think, because remember like in the early days of Erica, remember they went to that like lunch at like Nick and Steph's or the Palm downtown, and she showed up and did her dutiful wife like
That's what I'm
leopard
talking
dress
about. It's
gangster mall thing where they saw the chief of police or
Yes.
whatever happened, and she's the girl on his arm and she shows up for that stuff, and you got the sense she used to talk about Tom's reputation all the time and like how she couldn't endanger Tom's reputation. And then when that thing became such a big deal about her not wearing underwear, I was just like, oh, so she's got a guy on the side, or she's having an affair, or she's sleeping with various young guys, whatever it is. But that basically it's like, I don't want to, nobody wants to hear a word about this, but she made such a big deal about that.
See, I
She was
have
so
to stop you
sensitive
there.
around it.
I think she's so sensitive now as to what's like unfolded and how it has spiraled out of control. But
She's the one who keeps it alive.
But I don't think so, because in the beginning it happened. She did say like, let's move on. And then it did die down. Not enough for anyone's liking.
But also Rinna is a real, as I was saying, Salacious Crumb. Like, she's a real henchman. She kicks it.
know.
I think Rinna definitely, to me, seemed super smashed in like at several of the events that we saw her in. And it's like, they're all taking a pill and having a glass of champagne. That's fine. But
Well, I feel like
she was
Erica
definitely
needs-
deflecting, I felt. And then she kept kicking up. Erica has a short fuse. And there's like 3 or 4 things you can say to her that get her going. And I felt like Rinna kept that alive in order to keep herself relevant.
I also felt that Erica,
deflect.
what I thought she was upset about, it was the PK of it all. I thought the Dorit was almost just like, whatever. I thought the PK and the gross part and like, what is she selling?
Yeah.
Hit a nerve for her, because I do think married to this older man and kind of having this Erica Jane persona puts her
Probably
in a-
being called this her entire
Yes,
life, a
that
gold digger.
It touched on something. And so I thought that that's what
And
it was
I'm
about.
sure her whole thing with Tom is like, this is my persona. It's not who I am in life. You know that. And this kind of blurred lines. PK made it as though she was blurring lines, even though she wasn't.
Yeah.
And he's such a pig.
But what does "this is my persona" really mean? Because let's get to the heart of the fact that Erica, I'm sorry to say it, for all of the makeup and the bodysuits and the terrific figure and everything else, is not a gifted entertainer. So when you see that, like, guys, think about the fact that if you guys were like, I want to be a comedian, and you had a super rich husband who just kept paying for you to fly around the country to play gigs places, but you couldn't make the crowd laugh. I mean,
But I think the crowd
at
is
some
into
point,
her.
I mean, they're into it because it's happening, but like,
And I
it's
think
not
they're
wearing
into
any
it more
clothes.
now because we know her as
Yes,
Erica
but
Jane.
But she is great at being Erica Jane or Erica Girardi, but she is not a gifted entertainer.
Wow.
I have said it before
Wow.
on this podcast.
Look,
And Danielle, I know, does not agree.
I agree with you. Of course I do. I could never bring myself to say
I know
it.
I have cried in the past when people have said bad things about Erica Jane, and so it doesn't make me exactly a neutral subject. But I have to say, I think you're wrong.
Here's the thing. She couldn't be more charming. She
Yes.
couldn't be more vivacious. I would trade
Not on stage.
any talents and ability to just be who she is as a poised. I think she does have triggers, but I think overall she's very poised. But then you're right. She's got those triggers. But look, in
That
terms
Eileen thing
of on
was
stage, I'm just
crazy.
talking about the dancing and the singing.
Yeah.
And we run into problems.
I found, I mean, I know I'm going way back in the time machine, but that San Diego performance was so upsetting
Look,
to me.
you know what?
I was like, oh,
I've performed
shit.
in San Diego, and I wasn't my best there
Oh, we
either.
perform in San Diego. It's tough.
They're a tough crowd.
It's not
What I'm
easy.
saying, though, I think is what it does is it highlights the absurdity of the entourage, so that when you think about what the purpose is that the glam squad serves, which is like, these are the little birds whispering in her ear and saying, you're terrific and you're great and you're killing it, and where's our lookbook?
It's
and
kind of
all
like
this
Cinderella
stuff.
with them getting
Yeah,
her ready.
Cinderella.
The mice.
Cinderella.
This is exactly right. It feels like the mice and the birds in Cinderella. And then if Cinderella in Cinderella had opened her mouth and couldn't sing, you'd be like, why are they making her that dress?
Yeah, to quote my
And poor
my
has no
husband's
clothes.
father, yes, all hat and no cattle.
Oh,
There's
I
but
love that.
I'm okay with it, and I hope this doesn't come off as though I'm criticizing her, although I know it does. I find that to be just a fact that I'm perfectly at peace with.
Yeah.
me too, except for the part where she starts acting like she's J-Lo legitimately and has an overblown
See, that's what I like about her.
persona. See, I do think she's gotten kind of humorless, and I think she's kind of nasty and doesn't let stuff go.
I gotta disagree with you there. You've lost me. I think
told you this
I
was
don't
gonna be
think
controversial.
And with all due respect to you, having
You
not
don't have to
seen
respect me.
With
the-
all due and with love.
You say anything you want, I will not throw a shoe at you. Don't you worry.
having not seen the progression of the 13 tedious episodes in which we
True,
saw
this
the
is all
rise and the
true.
fall
This is
of
all
the
true.
panties, I do
Yes.
think she did try to let it go. I hear what you're saying.
It just came back so strong.
Yes. And I did think...
But I think Rinna was cooking
But I
that
also
up,
think
that
that,
broil.
and again,
Cooking
this
the
year
books.
didn't
Yeah.
cook it. But also, Dorit couldn't let anything go. So she was willing to let it go, but then Dorit kept picking and picking and picking. And that's where she was like, oh, fuck this bitch.
Yeah, Dorit kept calling her cold, which I pointed out. And every time
Not a compliment.
Erica's like, you called me cold. And Dorit's like, but you are.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to be rude. You are. It's like, no, that's very rude.
But Dorit and PK both seem to have that thing where they're missing, like, they can't take the temperature of the
They
room.
drink Red Bull and Diet Cokes at home. Like, that's who they are.
They gather at the bar and pour themselves a little drink. Now,
Is that what they were drinking? I thought it was scotch. Was it Red Bull on
Red
the
Bull
rocks?
and Diet Coke.
So maybe, then maybe the Coke thing is accurate about the...
as for the fashions, briefly, I just want to say I did kind of agree with you. I felt Erica Jane is now sort of like a persona of herself. It was like
She is full on
tipping.
drag. Do we know what happened to her other glam squads? Like, she just got new people.
What do you mean?
Like, Scott Barnes gone.
Well,
I mean,
maybe he's
no
very
surprise.
expensive. Scott Barnes is very expensive.
I can tell you he's not, because I visited his
Oh, I remember.
salon
We had
in,
you. We put up the pictures.
if he was willing to take my appointment, he couldn't have been that expensive.
but also I felt like Rinna in that sad Stella McCartney dress, which I love Stella McCartney, but it did feel. I don't think it's great for when she
Which
said
Stella
like
McCartney?
the red that Rinna was in.
Oh, that was a Victoria Beckham.
Oh, Victoria Beckham. I'm sorry, guys. When she said, well, you know, I would
That
wear
she said
this
she
again, you
I
don't want to
loved
be in
that.
something that you could wear again and no one would notice at a reunion.
Yeah.
And Kyle's
I thought that was
dress.
deeply troubling.
Kyle's dress. You said it perfectly, Jess.
no.
What was your quote about Kyle's dress?
That it was like Body Glove by Robin Pacone or whatever. It was just like, and also it got worse the closer you got to it.
It looked at to be made of rubber.
And it grabbed in places I wouldn't have liked if it were on me. And I think,
Highlighting your arm chub, nobody wants that.
and she's got gorgeous arms, so it was just all
just- it
wrong.
was
And her
wrong.
hair was it was all wrong.
Kyle, I have to say though, this season looked like really good.
She
to me.
did. That's why the
Yeah, for
swing in
her.
the other direction was a
Yeah.
shock
It
and
was
was
a
a step
it was-
down.
I enjoyed her
disappointing.
work in the reunion was simply face work. It was like she said to herself, Kyle, don't you dare say a word. I don't care what's happening.
Yep.
Your job is to not speak. You can react.
You have worked too hard to repair your relationship with your
You
sister.
can put a finger in your
Yeah.
mouth.
Bite
You
a-
can look away.
bite a finger.
She was
Some of
all
the best-
eyes.
Yeah.
Some of the best bunny work that was going on was from Kyle.
Let's get to this bunny.
Touchdown on bunny.
Okay. So we take a break in the reunion and we come back with Eden, which Danielle, you pointed out.
Okay, at some point I want to go back to what people really think of Lisa Rinna.
Well, you have to say what you said about her lips.
Oh, that it just,
Okay, you said she got into the lip game so early. Her lips are like a landline.
Well, it was true to me because I looked at her and I was just like,
lips are like
that
an
is so
AOL.
sad. She bought so deep in, like she has like
Her lips are dial up.
I could hear the Errol's modem like on that like.
And those horrible earrings.
Oh, and her filler is cheap. Her skin looks like podgy when you get up close to it. But that's some valley filler that she's working with.
As a
there.
person that lives in the valley, agree.
Well, then we bring
Okay,
out
so-
an Eden, and which Danielle and I both did not realize for the first 10, 15 minutes of
I would
last
say
week
45.
that Eden wasn't with us. I was like, the
I didn't
gang's all
even-
here.
I didn't even know.
It wasn't until they showed her and like next week I was like, Eden wasn't there. Like it did not.
She's also not
realize.
in the main titles, right?
I
don't
feel
think
like
she
they
is.
filmed something and then they were like, we don't have anything to use.
Can't do it.
We couldn't do it. So here comes Eden. Just wow. What you said, so horrible.
Go for it.
So horrible.
I don't remember anything
So
I said, so
upsetting.
go for it.
When Kim Richards says to Eden, she's like, you know, you and I actually could have been good friends. We had a lot in common. We could have been going to meetings together. We could have been going to meetings together, and you said, not a chance. Eden's not going to go out to Thousand Oaks for your meeting. It's so nasty.
It's so true.
So nasty. It's just really kicking someone when they're down. And
When they're up, she's the best she's been in years.
She really is. Despite
That
her
dress barn dress.
I
Yeah.
thought it was more
You're right.
cachet.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
anyone has a mall near them, you've been to a
Or
cachet.
did you ever, in the Pentagon
Totally.
City Mall near DC, there was a store called Ice. And
We had one of those at the town center of Boca.
yeah.
But we had a lovely cachet.
Like White House Black Market.
Yes, I enjoy the White House Black Market, but I will say when I was a a teenager and women were strolling out of cachet, I was like, that's glamour.
Oh, absolutely.
totally.
I was like, that's
100%.
where the debutantes, the glitterati
The
of
icons.
Boca goes to cachet.
That's how I felt about glamour shots. And all these women look like glamour shots. Mm-hmm. You know when they would make you look at 13 like you were 54?
Yes.
The greatest moment of your life.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was my dream, was to like be on solid gold as a judge.
So we get into a thing with Lisa
Dance
Rinna
Fever, rather.
and with Lisa Rinna and Kim, and you know we're going trotting over the same territory. And at one point, Andy's like, "So it seems kind of like you guys are okay."
In a good place.
And Kim Richards is like, "Yeah, we are." And in what is truly one of the best segments I've ever seen.
I mean, I was laughing, I was crying, I was screaming, I was
the-
whispering.
And the flip, like that it went from Kim feeling from being in a place of power
And saying like I
to the lowest.
And Kim came off so well, and I thought she really handled
if
herself.
only.
And then
And she wouldn't be Kim Richards. So what
she
happened?
didn't, to the horror, abject horror of her sister, bring out a crinkle wrapped bunny that had been given to Hucksley in anticipation of dear Huxley's birth by Lisa Rinna. And the acting that went on, everyone's face work was the best it's ever been. The editing was
Even
awesome.
Eden.
Even who could not move her face still managed face work.
Yeah.
Eden couldn't even look. No one could look at it. It was like a crash. Eden was looking into the middle distance.
Where was she keeping it? In
Kyle was trying to eat her own face and fingers.
I'd never seen Kyle turn her entire body to Lisa Vanderpump when Kim produced this bunny and said, "You gave it to me with, I think, some not so nice energy. I have to give it back." Now, you would think that's the craziest thing that could happen in this scene.
No.
But then Lisa Rinna's reaction is, you said, "Why isn't this woman still working in soaps?" That's where they zero in on her face.
100%.
Now, did they do that in the moment? Was that a zoom in, or did they punch in on it in editing?
I don't know, but I've never
question.
seen a close up that
Great
close during
question.
the reunion.
Because
I've never seen it.
someone did a close up in the moment, they should be fucking given a raise right now.
At this point, they must have 6 cameras on them at this point. So
We've
to
never
see
seen
that
a close-up
one
like that.
tear
No, it
on
was like
Lisa
Tootsie.
Rinna.
It's like watching Tootsie.
Yes.
It was like a crazy soap opera tear.
To see that tear come down on Lisa Rinna's face.
Just one. I could never produce just one tear.
Oh God, you're reminding me of when Erica was crying on the junk boat and Kyle was tapping her tears out of her when she was like tap tap tap. Like,
That's what the
that was-
Kardashians do. They're always trying to tap a tear
so
away.
gross.
I've never tapped a tear.
And I hate it because they'll be in like real moments where it's like, you know, a lot's gone on in that household with the Kardashians, but they're still in the back of their minds like, did our makeup?
Tap, tap.
tap tap tap.
But when Lisa Rinna, the first reaction she had when she said, "Here's the bunny back," and she goes, I can't even, there's no way to describe it, but it was kind of like a 2-part, oh, okay. That's what she would have said had she been saying it, like accepting it. And in drama school, they taught us the most powerful acting you could do is not to cry, it's to try not to cry.
Yeah.
And she fucking nailed it.
And that was also what they taught us about being drunk. It's not about being drunk. It's trying not to be drunk.
Yes, it is.
And God, it was like she tried not to, but damn it, if she couldn't help but let
One
a tear
tear
escape. One tear ran
then
free.
She walks up and then the bunny lays the bunny down and they give a close-up of that bunny. We all screamed.
But then even
And
better.
But then Kim lost her bearings because
Yes.
Kim had only planned as far as giving the bunny.
100%. She was like, "Uh-oh," and her brain was like, "Ah!"
And they were like, "Oh no, the camera's
And she's
still
like,
rolling.
and then
Like,
I'll
the
be
scene
cart,
is
and then
not
I'll be
over."
rescued by a spaceship and flown away. Like
And even Kyle was like, "I know, you're superstitious and all, but I could see why that didn't go well."
She was like, maybe you should just say the thing about how you're superstitious about objects. That's what she was saying to her. Like, maybe you should apologize. Like, you
But the
can find a
craziest
way
part
out
was
of
like,
this.
it was just 2 crazy reactions. Kim was so dramatic
But
with
then
it.
Kim started scurrying because she didn't.
always
She had
does.
only planned, and that was what was so heartbreaking about it. Because again, it's like she's a beta, she's not an alpha, but she's always, like you say, trying to suppress the cry. She's always trying to be the alpha.
And as I said,
And
the
she's
alcoholism
beta.
is her smallest problem.
Oh,
Yes.
no question. I mean, a body scan is so in order. I would love to know. Wish I could read if you could map the synapses in someone's body, like body worlds, where it's like, where's the information going? Yeah. And it's like, it's all going to my elbow.
She was
and my
doing
knees.
so
Like,
well.
I heard thought
when
something,
she-
and then I went to
when
my
she's
knees.
like, "But why are you feeling so sorry for her? She did it to me." And
But then
there
when
she
she
was.
takes that long bunny walk,
well, first she goes to get the bunny,
which took 20 minutes,
and she
I
couldn't decide. She
swear.
lurches over to the bunny, which is now on like a grips cart.
laid to
next
rest.
to the mark tape. Like there was like hot green mark tape.
Laid
on that.
to rest.
And we
that
got
bunny.
to see that the bunny was perhaps in like, it seemed like a gingham overall. Like it was.
I need a price on the bunny, and I know your fans can come up with it.
And
But
then to see her
the
walk that
doorway-
bunny towards her. But the best was that Lisa, for a second, I actually started to feel sad. Like I was like, this is triggering something with Lisa and her childhood, or something's going on. Then she gets off stage and Eileen's like, comes out and Lisa's like, hey, how are you? Like totally fine.
I
Eileen's
told you
like-
this was 100%. Lisa Rinna is like
Feeling it. She was feeling
chasing
them.
butterflies on this show. Like she is trying so hard to figure out how, when she talks about how her business manager called her and was like, Harry doesn't have to take another one of the only parts he's meant for, you know, like the idea that Harry would now be winning an Oscar now that
Yeah.
Lisa had
Now he
created-
doesn't have to take that
created a mock
Hallmark.
turtleneck line for QVC or whatever the fuck she sells, or wigs. And that but what you realize is that they really need this paycheck, and that she has really been trying to find a way this whole season. That's what her glomming onto Erica is about, is like, how do I make myself
Erica does
relevant?
not a good
And
judge
she was
for
given
Erica.
a moment. She tried. She was like, okay, got it. I mean, any one of us, if we were in that position, you'd be like, oh, they're going to the camera will follow me walk off? Well, I'm going to walk off. If I can get them to follow me.
And it was just not a walk-off moment. So
No.
it felt so, she's always a day late and a dollar short.
Yeah.
And
creating
she's
I'm gonna
hurting-
take a moment.
yes,
and then-
she's hurting
yeah.
Erica by being her defender. And at one point, I just wish Erica would have been like, I'm good, Lisa. Like, you're
Yeah.
actually diluting what I'm trying to do here. And Lisa, for them to reward her, it's like rewarding someone's bad behavior, rewarding her with the jump seat next to Andy. It's like,
Yeah.
But
come
Erica
on.
did say something after. I think they didn't want to put Erica in like that close to the other women on the couch, probably by putting her in the middle of the other two. But Erica did say something as soon as Lisa Rinna walked off. She did say something sympathetic to Kim.
What did she
Because,
say?
Erica has always been intensely sympathetic to Kim. And that's why I do think Erica's not cold. I have seen every interaction she has with Kim. She's pacifying her. She's trying to make her feel not
Agreed.
crazy. She's not a cold person. You know, Erica knew the lay of the land. She knew what had gone wrong there.
But she is unraveling a little bit to me. This
She is.
season.
You're
I was shocked to
absolutely
find
right.
out that her cop son lives at her house.
He probably lives in a guest house behind the giant house in Pasadena.
wasn't
would be my guess.
shocked.
I was like, wait, what? I felt like this was the first I heard of it. I don't know why I needed to touch down on it, but it felt like, it sort of shook me for a second.
Yeah, I'd like to know. I would both like to know more and nothing about that son. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
like I feel like I would start to know more,
Yeah,
and then I'd be like,
"Nah,
no, I'm
I'm
good.
bored." Yeah.
I'm good.
With Eden, you said something also very funny, Jess, that I wrote down, which is we were saying Eden has that like entitled Beverly Hills, bored, aimless, never had to work. And I do think, with all due respect, anyone who has never had to work is fraught with their
With
own.
all due respect to me,
No. I'm just saying to anyone. To anyone.
I wish to God that's what you meant. You were
No.
like, with all due respect, Chaff, for someone who has never had to work.
No.
would
I
take-
just mean to that, I find those people who've never had to work and kind of grew up
boring.
with privilege, but they're fraught with their own problems because they've had to create problems because
Yes.
they've never gone into the world and had to experience work drama, interpersonal. They're so
She was
protected that they've
picture
created their
of
own
neglect.
madness.
Yeah, a picture of neglect. Is that what I said?
Well, no, what you said was, I hope we are
Deeply crueler. I'm sure.
I hope we are all so successful. Our kids are this boring. As boring as Eden.
I hope that's true.
And
I
it's
hope we are
true.
so successful that we leave our children for months at a time and they open Pilates studios and give people. The other thing is a real telltale kind of sad rich girl thing is that she gives people gifts all the time.
Yeah, but like strange
I
gifts
feel
that
like
they
I
would
do that.
never want. What?
What?
I give more gifts than I should.
No, I think actually
I just want to be liked.
That's the Southern charm.
Oh, okay.
I think that's hospitality. I give gifts all the time, but I don't give a
Guys,
stranger
I don't
a
give
rose
a
quartz
I don't
ring.
give a thing.
Well, that's the shtetl coming out.
That's like, keep it off of yourself. You never know when they may take it away.
Shove it up your ass, kid.
That's the PK.
Headed this way.
They're coming for us. Eat your diamonds.
I think giving a gift is lovely when there is an intention behind it, and then when the only intention is not like me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was
are fabulous.
It was pretty great, and I'm excited for next
Yeah,
week.
that was. I wasn't sure where we were going. And then when the bunny reared its head, the crinkly bunny reared its head, I was like, oh, we are on a ride.
Poor Huxley.
Huxley.
I feel like Huxley got mixed up in this. He was
Yeah,
adorable.
He was wearing an identical outfit to the bunny, ironically. Did you notice that? In his second picture, he was wearing a baby blue cardigan with
which is from the Gap,
teddy
Baby Gap,
ears.
which I have
Very
for my
cute.
son.
Very cute.
I would have liked to see a side by side of Huxley and the bunny.
Yeah. Well, you might get your wish this week.
Guys, let's take a break. But any other last thoughts about Beverly Hills?
I just can't wait to see where we go.
I feel like the ladies are wearing thin on Andy. Andy
Yeah,
does seem to really like Kyle, though.
Yeah, but he's not as in as he is in Atlanta. Atlanta, he's excited. He's there. He's present.
And he's performing. He knows he has to.
Again, he thinks they're more fun. You can tell he just thinks they're more
I
fun.
think Andy's been doing this a long time, and he's sort of is like,
Oh, I wouldn't
pulling
wish
up
this
his
job
girdle
on our
and
worst
putting on-
enemy.
putting on his comfortable pumps and like doing this, like he needs that check too. Like, and it's like, and he is not hiding the fact. And he did, as you pointed out, use fake news into
Two reunions.
Yeah.
You know what, Bravo? If you want to throw a million reunions at us, we're going to see where
We're
you
going to see
slip.
some repeats.
Yeah.
We're going to see some repeats.
I wanted to say one note about Ken. As I was saying, I didn't watch all of this season,
Yeah.
and then I'm just dipping back in, and I am finding Ken's look off-putting.
I mean, when have you ever found Ken's look on
Because at least Ken had a small moment, maybe right when they moved into Bel Air, when he was doing like when they moved into Villa Rosa, when he was doing a 501 and a pink French tailored rolled up cuff, and there was just a little moment where I was like, maybe Ken does play soccer with Rod Stewart, like on a Saturday. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
And now Ken has made a dastardly error of not only getting Botox at the age of 107 or whatever. Ken is like wakes up in a coffin every morning.
Ken has died 5 years ago.
The swans nudge the coffin up.
Out of the crypt. And
Yeah.
The pony,
Rosia lifts him up.
out of the Baja shelf of the pool.
yeah, the ponies nudge his body. Like,
Remember when Ken fell on the Baja shelf?
Oh,
we
we'll
forget
never
all we
forget.
talk about.
But he not
feels
only
like
made that
yesterday.
error, someone has also overplucked his eyebrows. So
I feel like you become 100.
6 inches between, like he has like a Frankenstein forehead, and then what he's done is done a shaggier bang to overcompensate, and it's not good.
You're reminding me of when they flashed to PK and Ken talking nasty about Erica, and I have to say the way
that's gross.
that was terrible, but the way Lisa was laughing really turned me off.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
Well, Lisa, and I have to say, and everyone knows I'm a deep Anglophile, but I hated when what did Lisa say? They were just being naughty. They were being naughty, and it's like I hate that. I hate
the way she
the
keeps
excuse for that kind of misogyny and calling it not. Oh, they were just being naughty. We were just being naughty.
and she keeps laughing it off with Erica and saying, "I really thought it was funny." And Erica came back at her and she's like, "But now you know it's not funny, so why do you keep saying it?"
Yes.
Guys, I'm Team Erica despite what I said about her performing.
You can be both.
I'm debating cutting that because I don't remember no tagging everyone.
No tag.
It's never been more important than this episode.
We love her.
I don't think you said a bad word about her. You just said she wasn't perfect.
Right.
That's a bad word.
That is,
I think she knows.
wow.
And
Let's
on
take
that,
a
we
break.
take a break.
Guys, we're back. I mean, we don't have a lot of time left. Let's talk
Terrible
about New
time.
York.
I mean,
my icemaker.
we're treated to Sonya's apartment.
I think
and
you were
she
smart to
says-
leave this for last because there's only so much.
Yeah, I mean, I did like the fact that Tinsley moved in and she said, like, if I'm not here, don't take the elevator because I can't get you out.
Yes.
That was a
amazing.
fun moment. I love to hear all the quirks and broken things about the broke down palace that Sonia calls her house.
And for sure, Rouge, her dog. Don't you look at that dog and think it needs to have at least 2 teeth pulled?
Oh, yeah.
And then you're like, oh God, which intern's job is it going to be to pull those teeth?
And I feel like Sonia, having lost so many teeth along her journey, would just like stick one in her own
Oh,
mouth.
yeah. She has 0 teeth left. There is no way that a tooth in her mouth is
Oh,
real.
I think she does. And this isn't me being ageist. It's
Plays
just
a
knowing her
bridge.
teeth. I think, she pops them out at the night. And
Yeah. She also said to Tinsley Mortimer, you would date a tech guy? I love that you're open-minded.
Oh God, their conversation, I have to say they were serving full Edith Wharton. Their conversation
Yeah.
at that table about living downtown and how many young women there are. Well, the men are all downtown because the young women are downtown and they've all moved. I mean, I felt like the carriage lane was completely open on Fifth Avenue from like the top of the park all the way to the Battery. That was crazy to me. And I do think Tinsley, God bless her, has nothing but those suitcases.
Oh,
to
yeah.
her name.
She has
Those
nothing.
Louis Vuitton suitcases. My other favorite thing was when she was doing her like Marlo Thomas through the city.
Yeah.
She stopped to take a picture in front of her old
like-
building. But the way that she took the picture, she stopped and did like a Broadway stop. Like she like planted 2 feet, and then like, did you catch that? Yeah. She did like a dance. She was like dancing through the streets.
Like she was just going to be like, NYC.
Yeah.
And I know we've had some sad characters, trails of tears in these episodes and franchises, but wow, she's a toughie.
Oh,
She's the girl who had it all.
Trying on gala clothes with no gala to go to. She says, look, I tried these clothes on. She's like, because I want to be prepared, even though I don't have anywhere to go.
That was tough.
And not to mention, it was a shop that was upstairs on Madison Avenue. I mean, that is.
Can I ask? And I'm
so
sure I know the answer,
Dennis
but just tell me
Basso.
anyways. Is that a bad thing?
To have to take a flight of stairs
Yeah.
up to a flagship store. That's not a bad thing if it's a 2-story store. But the name was on the 2nd floor. I mean, that's like going to a tailor. It was just, shame.
This is a nasty little episode. A nasty
For
little episode.
shame.
Of course I knew that I would never.
But I
never.
have a feeling about Tinsley. I'm rooting for her. I want her deeply because we talk about like, okay, there was a real fall from grace there. I mean, she was married to her.
And I think she's missing Tippy Toppy Topper these days.
Yes, but she was an actual socialite. Yeah. And what we forget about all of these women is that they are not in any way. Sonia was the closest thing to a legitimate socialite. All of these other women are just women, like when the show
from
first
Central
started.
Casting.
Yeah, that you were like, oh, they just live in New York. Like they're just random people. Like, I really am rooting for Tinsley. I deeply, deeply want her to catch a big fish, and I want her to catch it this season.
And Jess, it's not going to happen.
I really hope she does.
She is.
I want her to get back in. I want her
world,
back in the game. They were not nice to her at that little party.
Bethany was so rude.
Bethany's a monster, but she's always a monster.
No, but she's the epitome
Intimidated.
of what I'm talking about the reduction of your character traits. She was even by the way, what was that craziness of her going after Carol talking about Hillary Clinton?
Yeah.
Here I'll say, Carol's whole thing of like, I'm more informed than any average viewer. I read between the lines. Is like, this is why conservatives hate liberals.
Yeah.
Because you sound so fucking annoying.
Yeah, and also like, please let's not talk about senators that you accidentally interviewed at ABC News 25 years. Like you're not a journalist. We need to stop thinking Carol was a journalist. I'm sorry.
I think she was at one time, but her insistence upon that fact is like, you have to at least make a joke and say, I mean, obviously now I'm on a reality show.
Honestly, now I'm riding on the bike of a 25-year-old.
Are they broken up, by the way?
No,
her and
he's
Adam?
moved in.
No, they're going stronger than ever.
I thought Carol's work looked better this year on her face. Yeah, I did.
Oh, wait.
I was like,
Am I
Carol's
allowed
not
to say
writing.
things like that?
Oh, you
Wait,
are.
one more Sonia line.
Sonia looks great, by
Wait,
the way.
oh, she's gorgeous.
Yeah.
I don't care how old they are, as long as I can get him to a dentist and he doesn't have bad breath. There's no one who has better one-liners
As
than her.
long as I can get him to a dentist. She can't get herself to a dentist.
No, she certainly can't.
And then you know who made an appearance? And we missed her last year. But she's back. And her name is Hannah. And she was wearing purple sunglasses. And she's had
crooked purple sunglasses.
She's had her lips done.
Oh no, I don't know if she has had her lips done. Do you?
It seemed
I
there
thought
was
she
something.
had.
And I want to say I've never
before.
called out plastic surgery on one person.
Yeah.
I've heartily agreed when others have said it, but I felt something was different about her. And I think she's a gorgeous girl.
She's crazy though.
She's tone deaf.
Yeah, but no, I think she's nuts. Like she has that look
You know
in
what?
her eye.
She's the New York version of Eden, which is like never had to work, but is like, I'm busy. I've saved up so much money. And she's probably saved like $75.
She hasn't seen anything. Her father is buying her that apartment.
It was also a joke visit to Jonathan Adler for a sofa with a
couch?
12-week delivery advance. I mean, it was absurd.
Absurd.
But that made me think of something else. Hannah made me think of, anyway,
I wrote about Hannah and it's like, well, what do I care? I'm like, your dad left you this money. Get a job. Where's your self-worth? A bunch of question marks.
Oh, but I think Hannah, remember she sort of mysteriously left school, and I think she's troubled.
Yeah, there's a lot there.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot there.
I feel so badly for Bethany's assistants.
Always.
The work they're doing in that apartment with her while she's curled up on the bed.
Where she's screaming, I'm an alley cat. It's just so weird. And
Is that what
Trying
she
on
said?
Halloween costumes for fun.
That Halloween costume. Oh,
Doing a Halloween parade for her assistants who were like, you look great.
that she was like, I wasn't going to do Halloween. And then like, I accidentally had this in my closet. Like, it was just like, what are you? She's very skinny, Bethany.
we were also treated to a
will say that.
cryotherapy guy in a large hat, which was a lot of accessories for an indoor job.
Yeah.
Exactly. Dorinda's looking fabulous.
Dorinda-
though. I think she looks
Dorinda
great.
looks great.
And I'm wondering,
We
is
haven't
that the
seen John, have we?
cryotherapy?
Is that the cryotherapy?
No.
That might be.
I'm sorry for the cough, guys.
No, not at all.
Bethany bringing a large skinny girl basket is so obnoxious.
I hate it so much.
It's so rude. And then when she's like, it's peach margarita for people, like if she wants to serve for the hostess. And oh my God, that guy, the
butler. Okay, this is what Bethany said about him, which did make me laugh so hard.
Yeah.
And this is what I feel like we have been like this episode. She's like, I love that little snarky, bitchy, bitter little butler.
He was overly tanned.
That bitchy, bitter little butler.
He was terrific when he was walking out. He's like, I'm going to walk her out to the car. And then Sonia was like terrified that she was going to be left, that he was going to. And why is she borrowing the butler, though, from her ex-husband? So she
Is
says.
this the same borrowed butler from last season?
I think
it
this
is.
is a different butler.
Because there was the brother-in-law's butler, and then there's the borrowed butler. I don't know
This-
how they
she
are
said she
different.
was borrowing him from Mr. Morgan. He works for. He introduced himself as working for Mr. Morgan.
So does she still talk to Mr. Morgan? Enough to borrow a bitter little
That's what
butler.
I'm wondering. But also, what was he really buttling?
I mean, he seemed
Was
to
he bringing
just...
anyone drinks?
Why does she need to borrow someone? An intern?
What about Luann's hat, and that people had to go around her whole head in order to kiss her when she arrived? Did you notice that? Everybody fell under her hat like it was an umbrella. I remembered what my thing was, the confessionals. So I don't know if it's just New York. It appears to be. They are shooting them in front of a green screen.
Oh, yeah, they've been doing that for a long time.
But all of them look like they have pink hair because they're shooting them in front of a green screen, and then they just put some random, like, maybe their living room, maybe not behind
But
them.
I feel like Carol's testimonial is in her living room.
But I was noticing watching the one last night that they all appear to not be in front of actual backgrounds, and that you can tell from the lighting being so different. Also, their intro this season is just very sad.
It's very sad.
Yeah.
Now, at some point, Carol, I think, said that like Sonia, she's like, or maybe someone said about Sonia's like, she's a great hostess. I don't know.
I don't believe that to
The
be true.
sandwiches, everything looked. I felt
The
worried.
cracks in the crevice that...
Well, this woman says, Sonia, I cannot come to your parties because of the crevices in your stonework.
Understood, though.
It was very wide stonework.
What about the woman that came with the shoes on her hat?
Yeah. She has a...
Everybody had a very
Ragtag
suspicious
crew.
plus one.
Well, that's the new thing. It's happening in Atlanta and it's happening here. It's now, I feel like the girls revolted and they're like, I'm not going to this shit alone anymore. People yell at me. And someone was like, fine, bring a friend.
But
They're all bringing random friends.
But
Although
they
Bethany's
also
girlfriend
seem
is
to
back and I had
be-
inquired about her just last week.
Oh, that's the girl you
That's
were
the
inquiring about?
friend.
I think that they're friends that make them look prettier.
Okay.
Jess, well, you've said it all. You've said it. You've said it
Does
all.
that seem, does that seem like not true?
I did feel that
about Luann?
Luann's
It's not a matter of
plus one.
truth. It's not a matter of
Luann's
truth.
plus one felt more of a nursemaid than a
Guys, I thought she was
What
sweet.
about Bethany's friend? Bethany was like, you could stay here. I'm leaving. Like Bethany always has to leave before everybody
She
else.
does.
She's like, I'll send Kenneth back for you or Keith or whatever
Bethany's
her-
whole thing is like, I'm so much busier than
Yeah, I
everyone.
gotta go. I gotta
People's preoccupation with their busyness is like, I want to say, you know what? Some days I don't have anything to do.
That
And
gift-
I'm okay with it. It's deeply stressful, but
That gift basket was so upsetting to me. I was like, she is not still bringing skinny
she sure
girl
is.
bars to people, is she?
oh yeah.
Horror show.
I mean, I'm excited for the rest of
What's
New York
coming
to
up
unfold.
this season? Yeah.
Well, I think the wedding.
Ramona
between
also
Tom-
seemed not nice.
Oh, when has she ever seemed
Last
nice?
season, she was kind of sweet, I thought.
Really?
Like sweeter than
I guess because
normal.
she was just coming off of the Mario
Yeah.
divorce, and I think maybe
She
that's
just
why.
seemed, yeah. So what do we have to look forward to then?
I think the wedding and Tommy's cookies and and whatever else is in front of us.
Whatever else is happening.
I'm excited. This has been
Anything else from you, Danielle?
no. I mean, I think that was kind of it.
I mean, I'm watching Southern Charm. I
Yes.
know no one else is, but you
No, I
did
watched-
find such a funny.
Yeah, I went to go find the Rome website. I was like, oh, it's up, it's running.
That's Landon's website.
And all it said was
Her
when
travel website.
Yes.
So wait, I have to set it up because Danielle goes, look, I found the best image from Landon's travel website.
And then I showed her an image and it just said, Safari can't find the server.
Safari can't find the server is really a metaphor for everything we've said tonight.
Safari just can't find the service. And one thing that Thomas said about Landon that I thought was really funny, which was
Well, I will say while you're looking for that, everyone pointed out, and I don't know if this just was because I'd like to think it's because of our fans and that we mentioned that the Babadoo is gone and it's back. The Babadoo is back, and I don't know if they were trying to like make us miss it. I don't know what was happening in episode 1, but the Babadoo is back. And then Catherine's going to a modeling agency with no makeup on.
Oh, that was so upsetting.
You have to be watching this. Ruffled hair.
It's amazing.
Showing
People
her.
always tell me to watch that show.
Yeah.
I've dipped in before, and I've
so good,
have found
Jess. Oh.
their relationship deeply compelling.
Thomas said about Landon to her in his speech, like congratulating her on this website. He said, "Your persistence is omnipotent." Which was like, what is happening? It really made me laugh. It tickled me.
That
I
is so
happy that
good.
happened.
Wow. I think we should end on that note.
Yeah, your
I would say the same
guys,
to both
listeners,
of you.
Your persistence
Your
is
persistence.
And I
It's
hope everyone's
omnipotence.
persistence is omnipotent when it comes to watching Atlanta and going on this journey with us. Have we
Yes.
steered you wrong?
No, never, not.
Start
not
with the
once,
finale.
Not once.
That's all you
We
need.
have a few plugs we
Yes.
have to say. Just
We've added a new show in Washington, D.C., a matinee, and we have a very special guest,
ooh, I'm very excited about this.
a
guest.
surprise guest.
Yes.
He's really something.
He sure is. We have a Largo show next Thursday, the 27th, with special guest Lauren Lapkus, who I'm so excited about. She's the best, the funniest.
We just did a delightful podcast with her. Am I allowed to
she's
say
amazing.
that? She
So
was
she-
terrific.
of course.
We did hers, not ours, but she was fabulous.
Lauren Lapkus at Largo.
And sorry, that Washington, D.C. matinee shows at 3 p.m. on July 16th.
And we still have a whole tour schedule that coming up. So go to our Facebook page, our Bitch Sesh Facebook page. And I also wanted to plug a friend show. Our friend Greg Bennett and Brian J. Moylan. They're
I hope
doing a
have become
great
friends of yours.
Yes, they're amazing Bitch Sesh guests and lovely people. And we just want to give a quick shout out to a group called Here for Drama, who raised money for the New York Women's Foundation by performing live readings of some of the most iconic Real Housewives episodes. Their next event is on May 6th at Littlefield in Brooklyn. They'll be reading the entire Winefield trip to the Berkshires from last season of Real Housewives of New York. You can go to herefordrama.com to get tickets. It's a great organization. It'll be a hilarious night.
And you know what I think we have not really plugged that much, Danielle, is that we are doing a show for Vulture Podcast.
Ooh, we sure
We're
are.
doing a live podcast May 20th in New York City at 2 p.m.
Yeah, it's for the Vulture Fest. So we're really excited about that.
Grab tickets. Thank you to our guest, Jessica Chaffin.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, if you haven't, I'm sure you all are, but if you're not listening to Rana and Beverly, you're out of your fucking minds. It's the funniest
very
fucking
kind.
thing ever.
It's the funniest ever.
Very kind. I was not that kind to some of the women on the
Oh, God, no.
Housewives.
You weren't,
No.
but you were, speaking truth to power tonight.
Well, it's not like, I mean, who am I to be throwing stones?
You know what? When they went low, you went lower, and I joined you there. I joined
Thank you
there.
for having me. I just wanted to also say to you guys, thank you so much. From your Facebook group was birthed our Facebook group, and we have these fabulous fans, but they're all these crossover Rana and Beverly, Rana and Aileen's, they're called.
I know. Well, they
Aileen
have
is the
great taste.
crossover.
They have great taste.
And thanks to you guys and your rabid, amazing show and your following, we therefore have this lovely following too. So thank you to you guys and thank you to your fans.
Aw. Thank you.
Thank you, April.
Yes.
Thank you, Luz. Thank you, July. Thank you to everyone at Earwolf for making this possible. Thank you to our listeners.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Hi, I'm Chris Gethard, and I'm the host of a show called In Your Dreams.
I had a dream that I was in my basement and I very enthusiastically cut off my left hand.
Alongside my very good friend and dream analyst, Gary Richardson. This was a show where we started off, we said we're going to analyze dreams. We said people could call in, let us know about their dreams, and we'd break them down.
When I do have dreams, I call them like reality mares.
That dream made me want to throw up. That was disgusting. But I'll say, pretty much right out of the gate, things got a little crazy.
What are we doing? What the hell is this?
You're gonna put a fucking mattress ahead of our friendship?
Find out what went down. Walk into the heart of darkness with us. It's like my personal Apocalypse Now. Listen to In Your Dreams, very kindly presented by the folks at Casper. It's only on Earwolf. It's one of the things I'm most proud of. Comedically, I think it's pretty strange, pretty funny, and I think you will enjoy it. Thanks so much.
This has been an Earwolf production, executive produced by Scott Aukerman, Chris Bannon, and Colin Anderson. For more information and content, visit earwolf.com.